Hey everybody, check it out. What's up? It's Hercules Porsche's professional intro. Yay!
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Hand of Fate, one of the most addictive games ever, and we are going to be looking at Fate cards. I'll try to get through this pretty quickly because we have a lot of cards to get through, and I want to just try to give you a quick synopsis so you don't get bored, don't get too many spoilers, blah blah blah. And here we go. These first three are Fate cards that are in the core game, so you get these even if you don't buy the DLC. Most of what I'm going to be covering here is DLC, but let's start with what's in the base game. So as you can see, I'm starting with Apprentice. It's basically this game's version of easy mode. There's a bunch of helpful cards shuffled into the deck, and there's a special sequence of unlockable cards. So if you've only played in default mode, you've missed out. But yeah, obviously you can't get certain achievements while playing Apprentice, but you actually have to play a little bit of Apprentice to get all of the achievements. Weird relationship there. But yeah, if you're just done with all that, if you're just there, trust me, I'll admit it openly. There are times it's really nice to play on easy mode, not because combat is hard, but because combat can just be tedious, and it can be nice to just kind of clear out those combat sequences nice and quickly. And it's very interesting to have this once you've gone through and unlocked all the cards. It's for endless mode. It's nice to have this Nymphs of the Sweetwoods cards dealt into your deck. It's like a total reset for your character. Lose all your blessings, all your curses. Your health is reset to 100, and you just get a regular sword. So it's a very interesting mechanic to have, and you get a special Sweetwoods blessing that gives you gain cards every 10 cards, every 10 turns on top of that. So that's a very interesting mechanic to have thrown into easy mode. So yes, I'm glad they put this in here. Default mode, there's not too much to say. You'll start the game like this. They don't make any changes to your character. This is the base game experience, and this is an amazing game. But you might end up playing a lot on default mode and not know what you're missing with the other modes. But yeah, so there's nothing special happens with default mode. No special helmet, sad. So I definitely recommend. I mean, there's nothing wrong with default mode, but I definitely recommend checking out the other modes. So you know you're not missing anything. Warlord, this makes combat harder and take longer, and there's some uh, cards shuffled in the deck to, potentially make things a little harder. You'll definitely notice those bandits with their extra knives, and it's like there's a mix of things to help you in combat. Like the stronger counterattacks, but overall combat you will find it harder and longer, and a special helmet that does nothing as far as I know, and a long, long sequence of cards to unlock both encounter and um, equipment. And you got painful chances to get from. You might be really tempted to use the dashboard trick to get past all these, insane success fail draws. But you end up at the very end of it with the dragon set, which could really help you for if you're trying to get past some of this game's more difficult stuff. So you play the hard mode to get some cards to make things easier. Is the experience you might have with Warlord. So definitely you are going to be looking at Warlord at some point if you were a die-hard Hand of Fate fan. And anyway, speaking of die-hard, people who want to buy DLC, let's take a look at those Fate cards really quickly next. This first one, Soldier's Training. You do increased damage as your combo meter rises. At certain parts in endless mode, you probably won't notice the mechanic too much because it's going to be really hard to raise that combo meter, but it's an interesting mechanic. I don't like Unlucky, but again, towards the end of endless mode, it's pretty much impossible to pick anything anyway. So not really interesting mechanics. And you start in heavy armor, which is, I don't know, make it hard to cross rivers, but you won't take much damage in combat, blah, blah, blah. You start with a base game helmet. Biggest downfall of this card is it shuffles a really crappy card where you got to do a 30 combo into the deck, and I hate that card. It's kind of obnoxious to have that in there. So yeah, nothing too special about Soldier's Training. Shadow Agent. This one is cool. I definitely won't mind the trade-off. Harder combat for a better chance with, a little bit of an easier time with chance encounters. Um, This Shadow Sword is the worst sword in the game, so combat will take forever until you get a better sword and you start in light armor. And the Shadow Agent helm is pretty handy. You just have that in your inventory, and you can swap to it, get some clues about what's on the board. So it's a nice helm, interesting mechanics, and the story, actually, out of all these ones, the story is the best designed. There's a little bit of intrigue in the storyline, which I actually managed to make a story that was a little bit enjoyable for me. Um, so that, yeah, definitely one of the best designed out of all these, I'd say, was Shadow Agent because of all those things. Nomad, it was kind of a lame, really lazily designed story cards. You basically do this, the three. You basically have a Nomad's Desert card. You got to go through it 3 times in a row. It's an identical card. You pretty much have to look up how to beat it, and you get like a detrimental effect put on you. So I found this a really badly designed Fate card. Didn't have much fun here. Don't much like the helmet. Useless if you're not playing this Fate. Moving on. Iron Hunger. Makes the game more difficult, no doubt about it. You have to. It's this kind of similar mechanic to Nomad. You can't hang on to really any extra equipment besides rings, but you're gonna eat. It's the same thing. You're gonna turn those into food, but this time it's gonna be special food that you need to stay alive. It doesn't mix with your regular food, so you get regular food from all the regular food cards you get from the game. They're only currency now. You can't eat them to stay alive. Instead, you got to eat this special food that you get from getting rid of all of your equipment. So as you can imagine, it's a very difficult game mode, and the story is a pain to get through. So wasn't able to have. It's just too much fun with this one. The achievement is ridiculous. You need to save up 300 of this special ore food. So yeah, didn't have too much fun with Iron Hunger. I slogged through it, and you get an okayish helmet unlocked, but and a lame encounter card. So yeah, didn't get a lot of thrills out of Iron Hunger either. Curse of the Lion Prince. The mechanic itself, I'll explain it fully because it's not done properly here. One of probably the better mechanics designed for endless mode, in my opinion. So definitely a pleasant addition to the game that way. The story / encounter is kind of lame. It's just not. Story didn't interest me too much, and the mechanics are really bad because to complete this stuff you have to have raised your health with the game's mechanic, and you can't be cursed, which is like it's like how do you, this game's cursing you all the time. So whoever designed story card just made that an obnoxious pain in the ass and didn't make it fun that way. But the mechanic is you start with 40 health, but every enemy you defeat raises your maximum health by 2. And so your health can go, you're playing on endless mode. It's such a great mechanic because if you're not raising your maximum health or you don't have a handy way to raise your maximum health, endless mode sucks if you don't have that. So this makes sure this is in all of your endless mode games. So that makes that just a great mechanic. I don't know if I've explained it perfectly, but just trust me, it is a great mechanic and kind of feels like, I don't know if it's the way the game should have originally been designed, but it makes it feel like a proper RPG type deal as you're going through the game, endless mode, story mode, whatever. So I really like that. I really like the mechanic that comes with Curse of the Lion Prince, even if the story encounter modes were a little lame and the helm's a little lame. But yeah, Curse of the Lion Prince made endless mode a lot more fun. And another card that made endless mode a lot more fun was Explorer's Gift. Kind of a sad trade-off because you can't wear heavy armor anymore, but I don't really like my heavy armor that much anyway, so not a big deal to me. But the bonus you get for that is huge. It is well worth it. Moving over completed encounter cards costs no food, which might seem really simple, but trust me, it is a great mechanic because you get to do exactly what this card suggests. You get to explore, and you get to getting to go over those cards you've already been at without a penalty. Just makes it a lot more fun to go, and more plausible and more fun to just take a look at the entire level. You start with this Explorer's helmet, which is from the base game, but it's a great helmet. So a nice perk that way too. Um, so yeah, you're well advantaged over what you'd have from losing out on the heavy armor, especially or if you already have dragon armor unlocked. So the chance cards, unfortunately, the encounter cards are a little lame. You finish, you unlock encounter card, which you can risk a bunch of resources to maybe get some, but it's almost never worth it. And the story, not too bad, but didn't wow me either. So, um, moving along, Merchant Guard. Yeah, it didn't really do anything that wowed me in terms of endless mode or the story. You can see the mechanics right here, so it is nice. You wouldn't have to worry about losing your merchant's ring, and you might have to do a couple extra combats, but I tend to do all those end up in combat in your shops all the time anyway. So yeah, nothing really wowed me about Merchant Guard. Helmet didn't wow me either, so kind of an unremarkable, disappointing card. Hoarder's Desire is the same thing. Really badly designed story. You got to do the same card 3 times over to unlock the token, and I don't like the counter card either. Don't like the helmet. Nothing much I like about Hoarder's Desire. You start with only 40 health, which is so there's nothing really to like about Hoarder's Desire. You can raise the maximum health by hoarding. But in endless mode, you're just gonna have that all stripped away from you anyway. So yeah, not too much to like about Hoarder's Desire, unfortunately. And Monk, and not a card I'd want for endless mode. The story's again, it's a pretty straightforward one about being a monk who fights the undead. As you can see, that's the only one I haven't finished going through yet, but I will be finishing it soon. I'm pretty sure that's the last story card, and yeah. So yes, that is the summary of all the Fate cards. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them to me. So yeah, this can kind of function as a little bit of a DLC review. I might do an even shorter DLC review later, but yeah, as you can see, the cards, if you played some of this stuff selectively, you might get a really good DLC experience, but you might also end up with a bunch of stuff that's just kind of a pain in the ass too. So I really, enjoying the DLC is really going to depend, I think, on whether you do it selectively or not. But yes, that's every single Fate card. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I always welcome all of your feedback. And until next time, everybody, I shall see you Starside.